You know how some days are just rough right out the gate? It's not like anything is particularly bad, but nothing's going according to plan, like not even in the realm of according to plan. Have you ever had a day like that? Well, today is that day for me. I mean, it's not even lunchtime yet and it's already been a day. But I still want to chat with you. I still got some things to do. So welcome back to the channel and welcome to Disney Springs. Like I said, I have some things that I want to accomplish today, but I'd also like to get out of this funk, you know? Maybe grab a snack or just some lunch in general, chat with you about any number of things. So I think we can turn it around. I will say that we're off to a pretty okay start, which is always a good thing. Security went pretty smooth. We didn't need to do that additional screening that they've been doing. I don't know if you've heard about the new scanners that they're using here at Disney World. They seem to be testing them because they're not everywhere and they don't use them all the time. But basically they've been asking people to take their bags off and throw them through this X-ray machine, which isn't a big deal. It's, you know, pretty standard in a number of places, including over at Universal. But it's not a smooth process. And like with so many other things here at the WDW, sometimes they don't communicate exactly what you need to do, and because people aren't familiar with the process, it makes things a little bit more confusing. When I went through the line and had to put my bag through, it was pretty clunky. The long and short of it is they were trying to get me to keep walking before I had collected my bag because the people behind me didn't have a bag. It was a thing. Anyway, moving on. We're making our way to World of Disney at the moment. There's a special purchase that I need to make before the weekend, so I figure we'll run and do that together. But like I said, there are some other things that I wanted to chat with you about as well, including a little bit about DVC. You know, we're always having conversations about DVC. I'm a DVC member, have been a DVC member for quite some time, and while we've been sharing our experiences with DVC with you, there's been like this recent development, especially with the announcements regarding the Polynesian, that have had me feeling even worse about DVC than I had before. I know that might be a kind of bold thing to say, but honestly, it's just true. I mean, don't get me wrong, DVC has its faults just like anything else, and you know, some things that I don't care for about DVC are easier to brush off than others, but recently there's been this series of developments that, well, something's in the works, and I'll share a little bit more about that with you here in a bit, but let's make our next jump over to another patch of shade, or maybe even some AC on our way to World of Disney. Yep, this is how we do it here in the summertime. Hopping from shady spot to shady spot. Oh, we should jump into Uniqlo. I do have a little tidbit that I want to share with you about Uniqlo. So let's jump in there real quick. Because you know, we did just talk the other day about how you can blow your budget really quick when you travel. And one of the ways you can do that is not bringing what you need with you and then needing to find it when you get wherever it is that you're going. But here at Uniqlo, at least if you're visiting Walt Disney World, you can get those necessities for a pretty good price. In fact, Disney Springs has a lot of options that can really save you in a pinch. You know, and the prices aren't too bad depending on where you're shopping. Uniqlo is one of those go-to places for me though. They've got a lot of great options for decent prices. I'm also a little biased because this was one of my favorite places to shop for basics when we were living in Japan. Prices are great, the stuff is great quality. It will last you a while. All right, moving on to World of Disney. On the way though, check this out. Now, for those of you who aren't already aware, it is National Hispanic Heritage Month, and so here at Disney Springs, they do have a lot of different offerings celebrating Hispanic and Latin American culture, and this is one of them. That looks good. Smells good over here too, but I mean French fries, you know? I don't know if I want that today. Don't get me wrong, I would get it, but again, we've got shopping to do. All right, let's do it. Into the belly of the beast. We did come in a door that was less crowded, so I feel like we're doing okay, at least at the moment. Now I am looking for a bubble wand. Not these though. All right, keep our eye open. I will find what I'm looking for today. Ah, here it is. Yes. All right, we did it. There she is, tucked away. I made it out without any additional purchases, which was a little rough because as soon as you get that mobile order or that mobile checkout thing going, it's so easy to snip snap, you know what I mean? Or you know you're walking out with 2 handfuls of stuff, but not today. Just got 1 bubble wand. Personally, I think that the Little Mermaid bubble wand is the most beautiful of the bubble wands, which is exactly why I had to buy it for a family member that's coming to visit. I don't get many opportunities to spoil little ones, so when there's a little one who needs a little bit of spoiling, I'm gonna do what I can. By the way, I've got a Halloween Mickey Pumpkin Waffle Sundae. That looks good. I still haven't tried anything from there. Just like I always tell you, like ice cream always sounds good. And then when I'm in the vicinity of ice cream, I'm like, maybe next time. And I don't end up with it. Just the way it is. All right, so I found a little corner of shade. Like I said, hopping from shade to shade, AC to AC today. No, it isn't even that bad out. I think it's probably around 90 degrees. Anyway, let me fill you in with the situation surrounding Disney Vacation Club and what I've been running into. So we've been DVC members for a long time. As I mentioned, we've been DVC since like 2001, 2002. And when you become a Disney Vacation Club member, you're assigned a representative. Sometimes people call them DVC guides. And we had this guide who was our guide for years and years, but then he retired. And you know, we were sad when he retired because we loved him, we had a great experience with him, but we knew that we would be assigned a new guide, and we were. And that's where our experience shifted with DVC. Now, at first, we were like, maybe the experience is gonna be a little bit different because this is a new person, they gotta get their feet under them, you know? So we gave them some time. But as time went on, the experience did not improve. And it really all came to a head recently with the information being released regarding the Polynesian Tower, which for those of you who aren't up to speed on this, is going to be the newest Disney Vacation Club property to come online. It's not really a whole new property because the Polynesian Village and bungalows does have a section of Disney Vacation Club rooms, but it's in addition to that. And new contracts will come up for sale, and we were interested in that. So leading up to that, you know, like I said, we were giving this new guide some time, giving them the opportunity to get themselves squared away, and we excused away a lot of the things that weren't happening for us, but had happened in the past. And we hear from you guys that they happened for you. You know, your guide reaching out to you about things that are going on, opportunities you can take advantage of. We never got any of that from this new guide. And I mean, we'd run into some other problems as well. You guys know that we've had some issues with some of our stays in Disney Vacation Club villas. We've reached out to DVC, reached out to our guide, and got nothing in return. But recently, with the release of information regarding sales of the Polynesian Tower, this all became much more interesting and much more of a problem, at least in my opinion. So leading up to this point, we had stopped in and requested information pretty much every time we had stopped by a Disney Vacation Club kiosk. You know, usually they take your information, especially if you request it, and they'll forward it to that member guide, to your member guides, that they can give you more information about upcoming contracts that are going to be for sale, in this case, the Poly Tower. We even did this once or twice for the cabins, if memory serves me right, and we never got any information about those either, because Russ was interested in the cabins initially, but anyway. And at first, when we hadn't heard from our member guide, I was like, well, it's probably because there's no information yet, you know? Like, we had been requesting information for quite some time before any details had been released to the public. But the fact that we haven't gotten any information as of yet really had us raising our eyebrow, because information has been released, even on Disney's social media accounts. So why aren't we hearing from this member guide? Why aren't they reaching out? Why aren't we getting any information? And why have they not reached out since they became our guide? That's the question we're trying to find an answer to. Or stop for snacks before we go. Let's see if they have the cookies. Chocolate chip, lemon burst, those aren't the ones. Maybe they'll be over here. Ha. Gotta get some of these. All right, just had to grab that real quick. See, the Boo Crew, who by the way are my family members who recently moved down here, I just felt like they needed a spooky title, so we went with Boo Crew. They think they're gonna have the best welcome to Disney World for your first visit treat. No, I mean, not that it's a competition, but we're gonna put our best foot forward. right? Anyway, so back to the whole DVC member guide thing. Now currently, I'm working on getting this issue resolved. I'm working on fixing this because we still have a couple decades to go, and I would like a DVC member rep who is going to like be a DVC member rep, which I don't think is too much to ask. You know what I mean? DVC is expensive. I think when you request information, you should be able to get it. When you have an issue, it should be able to be resolved. But anyway, I say that because I don't have a solution yet. I don't have an answer to this question. But when I do, I'll share it with you. But I do want to know though, have you ever dealt with anything like this? Like, have you run into this over the years? Tell me about it. So the next order of business is to decide if we're gonna get some lunch. Honestly, I don't know. Originally I wanted something, but now I'm like, it's hot, not really feeling it. This is kind of the issue I have every time we're at Disney in the summertime. Just appetite goes right out the window. I did have my eye on Pizza Ponte, which the Boo crew has tried multiple times and they speak very highly of it, but it's so much food. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll take any excuse to try something new, and I mean, who doesn't want a slice of pizza every now and again, you know? But I want to feel good, and sometimes if I'm not hungry and I eat anyway, I don't feel good. Today's already been wonky. I don't really want to give it any reason to go any farther down that things aren't going according to plan path that it's already on. And you know what? We got everything we needed, so we're ending on a high note. Now it's just a quick trip, but sometimes that's all it takes. Whew. But all right, I'm sure some of you are wondering, like, what's on the schedule moving forward? I figure while I'm digging in here for my keys, I'll let you know. Actually, hold on, before we do that, let's take a step back. I want to take a second to say thank you so much to each and every one of you who hung out with Russ while I wasn't feeling well. Fortunately, it was just a little cold, you know, but it did give you the opportunity to go hang out with Russ, and he had so much fun hanging out with you, and he appreciates all of the kind words. That said, you and we have a little catching up to do. We got to make our way over to Epcot to try out some of the food and wine offerings. Also, yes, I am dripping. There's nothing I can do about it. I keep blotting my face like my life depends on it, but it's just toasty in here. We also have to go check out Tom Sawyer's Island. I haven't been there either. Seriously. And I'm sure I have so much more to add to that conversation, and I want to experience it before it goes away. Also, I did hear from one of you who was like, go to Universal. Yes. We love Universal. The thing is that Universal is a little out of the way for us, which isn't that big a deal, but sometimes we just can't get over there, especially when I'm not feeling great. But when I tell you, I hear you. I'm definitely overdue for a Universal trip. I gotta get on some coasters, man. And we're gonna do that. It might be a little bit, okay? It might be like another week or so, but I assure you I'm chomping at the bit too. Other than that, I just wanna have some fun. I wanna wander around. I do wanna get to answering some of your questions about the treehouse villas, which we're not gonna do today because, I don't know, I'll be a puddle on the ground before I get through all of them. And of course, I wanna follow up with you with this whole DVC thing, let you know how it gets resolved, if it gets resolved, and what we had to do in order to make that happen, because if you're running into this too, I want you to know how to fix it, you know? So anyway, that's the situation as it stands. But for now, I think we're gonna call it there. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Like I said, I know that this was just a quick trip into Disney Springs, did a little bit of shopping, didn't end up eating anything, but don't worry, we will, especially with all the offerings for this Hispanic and Latin American, I always say Hispanic and Latin American History Month or something, and that's wrong. It's just National Hispanic Heritage Month, but on the sign it says Hispanic and Latin American Cultures, so just bear with me over the course of this month. Every time we talk about this, I'm gonna stumble on it. But okay, enough is enough. Gotta get this AC going, do something about this. Of course, I want to hear from you. Let me know if there's anything that you want me to try. Let me know if there's anything you want to try here at Disney Springs. I think the offerings are listed in the My Disney Experience app. Also, like I said, let me know your thoughts on the DVC situation we're running into. Blot the face, blot the face. I'm actually really curious to hear your thoughts on that, and or if you've dealt with any of this. I hope that you haven't, okay? Because this, I don't know. But okay, I'm off. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys next time.